I think the most important question facing humanity is the universe a friendly place? Einstein is saying and asking.
I was just reflecting on this a couple of days ago as I watched both our pets, play around and explore, and how they were treating. We had some strangers at the house, getting some things fixed in the home. And one of them, as soon as she saw them, she flew, she ran away, was not to be seen in the house again until they left. And the other one was very happy along playing. She was playing, going, around them, exploring, and just spent the whole time with us. And then when I thought back to their experiences, the first cat, Zahra, she was rescued off the streets by a lovely lady who then, we adopted the cat from her. And her experience was that the universe is cruel, because she was found on the streets in a neighborhood. There were a lot of cars. She didn't have food. She was on the streets. And that was her experience of the universe when she was born. And the other cat was born to a litter with her, the mother and the male and female cats were in the same home. They were already pets in a family, and she was born to that house. And then we adopted her from there. So she had a very different experience. She is more secure. She feels more safe. She's more comfortable. She engages more. And her experience of the universe is very different. And it's so stark and it's so obvious seeing it that way, of how they each relate to the world.
That's so beautiful that you notice that. And it talks about you being also very aware of what is going on with them. And I'm saying that because I don't think we are always aware with our children and with what is going on with them. And I'm also going to what Gabor Mate says very often, that and he's actually quoting Buddha in the beginning, but it's that with our minds we create a reality. And then he completes that the reality in the first years of life is what actually created our minds. And we are in this loop. And we can reverse this. Luckily, we can reverse this because of the neuroplasticity of our brains. It just takes practice, and it takes consistency, and it takes a lot of unconditionality and unconditional love from someone. And when we grow up as adults, that someone is us, for the inner child that we all have within. I'm thinking of that. And then if we go to the first part of the quote, the question would be, why is that important for the humanity? Yeah. And we live in this global world now where we can meet so many people from so many different races and areas and cultures, and then I think that's very important on how we take what we get together, when we get together, how we present ourselves. Because if I'm secure that the world is a friendly place, then I'm able to be more open, to embrace whatever comes towards me. And if not, then I'm always triggered, and I'm fearful, and I'm, and we move towards this world that is going to be really not homogeneous anymore. And then, that's important.
I love how you related it all the way back to earlier experiences, and the mentioning of Gabor Mate, and how he says that the earlier experiences are what create our mind or shape our mind. I hope I'm paraphrasing that accurately. And it's so important to note that, because as the example of the cat, so be it with children, and so be it with babies. And it's actually counter to what culture says a lot of the times of, He was too young, he didn't remember. He was too young, this didn't impact him. You know, this happened when you're so young, he won't remember, he won't see, he won't recall, it won't impact him. However, it does. It does. And, you know, if we go as far as, you know, the experience in utero, whether the mother had anxiety, whether the mother had, you know, any challenges, the baby is there with her, experiencing this with her. And if we're also to take it, you know, afterwards, going into the universe, what was the birth experience like? There's this baby coming out into this world. Was it, you know, like hospitals now, they have all these neon lights and flashlights, and it's noisy and it's loud, and this baby was inside his mother's tummy and in this rocking, you know, whoosh sound for so long, very soothing, and all of a sudden they're into this. And it's just having the awareness of all that. I'm not saying we can change it. I'm not saying we need to change it, but it's knowing that all this does then explain and illustrate to a baby, to a child, to someone coming into this universe, is this a friendly universe?
I don't know about Egypt, but here, if there's trouble in the family and if there's abuse and so on, one advice that was given, and it might still be given, was to put up with it until the kids are older and then to separate. But if we go back to what you were saying, it's the other way around exactly, because the first years are so impactful on how a person is afterwards. And then if we put up with abuse for the sake of our children, it's actually in reverse. And sometimes we don't realize, sometimes we are not able to change. It's just that I think we need to raise awareness about this as a culture, that the first years are very impactful on a child's nervous system and on the child. And the person, like Maria Montessori says, that we are not, that it's the man that was in the child before, right? The child creates the man, the adult.
Absolutely. And I also want to highlight all the other experiences that a child goes through that then translate to them whether this is a friendly universe or not. So, for example, when the baby is, or, you know, or the child is hungry, will they be fed or not? When they are tired, will they be, you know, given the opportunity to sleep or not? When they are upset, will they be soothed? When they are scared, will they be comforted? All these experiences then tell the child or the baby, is this a friendly universe? Is this a place that I can be safe? Is this a place that I will feel safe? And it does impact the person growing up, you know, a child who is 6, 7, 8, 9, who feels anxious in certain situations could very well have had, you know, this brewing when they were younger, when they didn't feel safe in certain situations, when they didn't feel held, when they didn't feel like the universe is safe and for them.
Yeah, and I would go to something that I was reading recently. When children grow up in chaos, they grow up as adults who get triggered by peace. And if we think again, why did Einstein say this? Like, he was coming from traumatic experiences in World War II, right? He had to live through World War II as a Jew who had to flee his country. And then adults get triggered by peace if they grow up in chaos. And that's then so valid for humanity. It's not just for individuals, but for us as a whole, as humanity.
What you just said now is so profound. I really appreciate it. And on a much, you know, more monotonous note, it's why also when, now that we multitask and we're in this modern world and we're so busy all the time, we get triggered when it's quiet. We feel like we need to do something different. Thank you for sharing that.